Yes guys, how's it going? Welcome back to a new video, and I tell you what, this January window is heating up. We spoke for quite a long time in yesterday's video about the great news that Bruno Guimaraes' injury is not quite as serious as first thought and is hoped to be back by this time next week for the Southampton game. So fingers crossed for that, but we spoke quite a lot about our midfield options this January window. What players could Newcastle go in for in this January window? And there was quite a lot of different opinions from you guys down in the comments over whether we should go out and just get the depth or whether we should concentrate on bringing in someone who is really going to elevate this side. Some of the big links are Ruben Neves right now, Milinkovic-Savic. In fairness, the Express are actually reporting today that Newcastle are aligning a new go and get 'em for James Maddison. Which would be really big. So we will monitor that one. I would still love to see the Maddison one come off this January window. I think the fact that he has been injured at Leicester all January window, you know, it wouldn't surprise me if Dan Ashworth is in the background somewhere trying to make that work. The trouble with that one is that Leicester aren't having the greatest season, and to go ahead and let their best player go, I don't think they would get relegated. I don't think they are in that battle, but we will wait and see. Instead, what we are going to talk about in today's video, which has been heavily reported this morning, there was a couple of whispers last night as well, and it's a name you're going to recognise. It's reported that Newcastle are back in for Moussa Diaby, the winger from Bayer Leverkusen, the 23-year-old who's smashing up the Bundesliga right now, is reportedly back in the eyesight of Newcastle United, and Newcastle could well look to go out and spend as much as, the reports are, 80 plus million on Moussa Diaby. You'll remember back in the summer, we were heavily linked with them. It was no secret that he was someone Eddie Howe was very, very interested in. And it seems that interest has continued into this January window. And it's no surprise, to be honest, because Moussa Diaby is a fantastic player. As it happens right now, Bayer Leverkusen are not having a great season. They're actually sat bottom half, not doing very well, but Moussa Diaby is still pulling in some great numbers. To be playing in a side that aren't doing great this season, he is looking pretty good. And at 23 years old, with his full career still ahead of him, could it be that because Bayern aren't having the greatest season, maybe in his head, he's starting to think, should I go? Should I take this chance and look to move somewhere else? Now, as I've mentioned, back in the summer window, the price tag was up as high as 100 million. Now it's gone down slightly, but still, the rumoured reports of 88 million for him for this January window. I mean, it's a hell of a fee, so you'll have to let me know your thoughts on it down below. Comparing it to Newcastle right now, I mean, really, he plays on the right-hand side. Back in the summer window, we were discussing Diaby as an option to potentially replace Almiron. Now, thankfully for us, Almiron had a fantastic pre-season and has had an absolute smasher of a Premier League season for us. I think for many could well be up there as certainly one of the most improved, but potentially one of the best player for us, smashing goals in for fun. Is Diaby as much a priority now if we've got Almiron? In fairness, he can play out on the other side as well. And at the moment, it's not just Newcastle who are being linked. He's also being linked to Arsenal right now. We know that they were in for Mudryk, who they lost out on. It's thought that Arsenal themselves are also pursuing Moussa Diaby to bring into their side as well. But even for Arsenal, they've got Saka, Martinelli. You know, do they need him? And I suppose that's what it comes down to for Moussa Diaby as well, wanting to go to a team where he will get first team football for Newcastle. You've got, providing everybody's fit, Wilson up front, Almiron on the right. I mean, we've been playing Joe Linton on the left. We could also play Maxi there. We've also got Isak to fit in across one of these front three positions. I mean, to be honest, I think Almiron's the one that's nailed on. And that's the position that Moussa Diaby plays. So you'll have to let me know your thoughts on that down below in terms of, I think it's a fantastic talent. At 23 years old, I think it's a player that Newcastle would really get a lot out of. But in this specific January window, to potentially pay that amount of money for a player in a position that we've actually got on lockdown, that right wing with Almiron, is that where you want to go? You let me know your thoughts down below. I think it's great to hear that we are creating and re-inquiring about players. Yeah, Eddie Howe and his little black book of the players in that summer window who he likes because of talent, he likes because of, up and coming, because of personality, because of work rate. It's all those things that are getting ticked off on Eddie's list. So I'm not surprised it's a player we're interested in. And he talked about depth as well, because I suppose you could say that should Almiron have a knock or even need a rest, I don't think it's worth spending £88 million so that Almiron can have a rest every now and then. But you get what I mean. It's still having that depth of positions. You can really play anywhere across the front three. So it wouldn't just be the right. It could be the left. You could have interchanging. Yeah, it's an interesting one. So let me know your thoughts down below. I think realistically for me, if I had to spend 88 million, it would probably be on other positions of the pitch. But as I spoke about in yesterday's video, it's not always that easy. It's not as easy to go, right, we want that position there, or we want that player there. Quite often, you line up a few along a wall, and you knock down the ones you can or can't get to try and come to something before the end of the window. And I think being linked with and putting in inquiries for these players, I mean, at the end of the day, if they are potentially already in discussions with Arsenal, doesn't hurt for us to kind of throw our little hat in the ring as well and go, hang on, how much was he for? Or was he planning on leaving this January? Because if you remember, we had a lot of interest in the summer. And if you want to go somewhere and try and get regular football, maybe Newcastle could be the one for you, and hopefully to be, I mean, Arsenal are in a good position as well, don't get me wrong, but I would still say that potentially if he did come in, maybe not on the right, but on the left, could well be a place that he could feature. And you could also look at it like this. We want centre midfielders, really, but Joe Linton's been played on the left. So if we were to play Diaby there, that would at least bring Joe Linton back in at the middle, so it would still create depth across the whole squad, maybe not in that specific position. But yeah, I would probably refer back to my video from yesterday. If you've not seen it, go and check it out. We talk more about the centre midfielders. That's the position I think we need to go out and look at. The Athletic actually did a very good article last night about centre midfield options and where Newcastle need to strengthen, and I think it's right now, with 2 weeks to go, as much as it's interesting and exciting to hear that we could go out and spend big. And look, we did it with Isak at the end of the summer. I do think if a price is right, we refer back to the James Maddison one. I think if the price is right with a few days to go, we could well see Newcastle spend some decent amount of money. But to say that we would go for a right winger when there's way more priority positions on the pitch, that's where I would look in the midfield. Let me know your thoughts down below on the Moussa Diaby links. Would you be happy for us to go and spend that big money on, yes, a very talented, young, attacking, exciting footballer? Or would you concentrate on maybe in that midfield where I think it's possibly more needed? But as I've said, on the right wing, the depth is Almiron. But to spend that amount of money on someone who is a backup, yeah, it's interesting. Let me know your thoughts down below. Thank you for watching as always. Drop a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Loads of videos coming out at the moment, and I expect that to continue throughout the most of the January window. Hopefully very soon where you can see a player walking in through the door. Alright guys, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you later.